with Written by Mike, which is my feature film, I've always been a big proponent of shooting things in Virginia. I'm a firm believer in raising the Virginia film incentives, which are the grants and the tax incentives that the state offers. I've been a firm proponent of raising those, and unfortunately, our film was a recipient of those. That grant, which was really awesome. The Virginia Film Office had full faith in us, and they've been really supportive ever since. One of the things I really wanted to do with this film is highlight Fredericksburg as a film location. We, as some people may know, I was the head of not the head of marketing, but the marketing assistant for Fredericksburg Economic Development and Tourism. I can't take that title away from Danelle Rose. She was amazing. I was that for about 2.5 years, working for them. I ran Restaurant Week. I spearheaded Diverse City. I wrote basically every blog and wrote the copy for fxbg.com. And I really got to know the city in a really good way. The 40 blocks of downtown, the Canal Quarter District, the Darby Town. There's so many great areas of Fredericksburg. And, originally I wanted to shoot the film in Richmond and really kind of center the film around the city of Richmond, which is where I was living beforehand. But I just fell in love with Fredericksburg. It's got that small town feel without necessarily being a small town, and that was really important to me to highlight. And I think we did. I mean, we shot the vast majority of the film in Fredericksburg as businesses such as Red Dragon Brewery, Curitiba Art Cafe, Market Square, which obviously isn't a business, but it's a good location. We shot it at houses all around the city. So it was a really wonderful experience. And if I can take anything away from this film, is that we got to make Fredericksburg as beautiful as it is in real life.
And I guess the hope is, at least around here, that someone will see this and say, hey, that could be a location for something that we're going to do.
And not only that, absolutely. That's why I founded, I don't know if it's still going on, but the Fredericksburg Film Incentives Program, which is an additional kickback that the city gives in addition to what the Virginia Film Office offers. So hopefully we can get more production here. I know that's something that some people in Fredericksburg I know are trying to push. But in addition to that, there's a big business or a big trend in tourism called film tourism. So let's say, the film Lincoln was shot in Petersburg and Richmond, right? If someone's a big fan of that movie, they might, when they go down to Virginia from another state, they might search, like, where was Lincoln shot in Richmond and Petersburg, and go to that locality. What a lot of localities have found when it comes to film tourism is that their business increases substantially. Businesses around the locality increase substantially when a production shoots in that area. Now, we'll see. We're releasing on Friday. We'll see how popular this gets. But if anything, if someone watches it and comes to Fredericksburg, there are going to be plenty of locations that they will recognize if they watch the film and then come to Fredericksburg.
So talk about it. What's it about?
So I wrote this film, Written by Mike, for a very specific reason. My therapist told me to. I feel that filmmaking and a creative endeavor in general is a therapeutic exercise. There's a reason we do it in the first place. I was dealing with a lot in my life. That was about 5.5 years ago. I was dealing with a lot in my life with relationships, with family, with my mental health. And my therapist said, well, you're a screenwriter. Why don't you write a script about it? So I did. I wrote it in 2 days. And I sent it to a couple friends who loved it. Because at first it was just like, something I'd share with my therapist and just be like, maybe this worked. But then I'd come up with an idea for it. And I was like, oh, this might actually be interesting. And there was a really good reception to it. So I revised it for 4 years. And then I was fortunate enough in that time to have someone, James Lawhorn, who believed in the script, who became our executive producer, ran the production through his company, and more importantly, financed the production. So we ended up being able to make it. So Written by Mike is about two couples dealing with family trauma and illness at the spark of their relationships. It's basically an examination of what does it take to build a successful relationship without necessarily answering that. Like, you are comparing these two couples, seeing what works for them, what doesn't work for them. And it really kind of ponders the question of, like, is loving someone enough to make a relationship work? Like, what else factors in? And I'm proud of it. I mean, I think we did a good job.
Did doing this really spark something in you, and this is what you want to continue to do?
Maybe. See, I was working in film for a while before I worked for the city of Fredericksburg.
Okay.
I worked on the TV series Swagger. Before that, I was a producer by trade, produced commercials, corporate work. And in addition to that, did all my short films on the side and had some success and a lot of fun doing that. I had kind of taken a break. Honestly, I'd kind of sworn off film, but I had always wanted to make this one.
Yeah.
So maybe someday I'll do another one. But really, this was the passion project I'd always dreamed of doing. I'm like, if I can do this one, I'll have fulfilled my dream, and I did.
And to do it in Fredericksburg. And I think that will be the cool thing, to be able to see this and to see, hey, I know where that is.
Not only that, people who have already watched it in Fredericksburg have been really excited about that. You know, we had our premiere back on March 1st, and we had a lot of people from Fredericksburg come who really enjoyed the movie, and more importantly, noticed Red Dragon, noticed Fredericksburg Square, noticed Riverfront Park. We have a really important scene on the dock at Riverfront Park. That was really important to us. And then in addition to that, in addition to our release on Friday, we're doing something really cool where we're screening at Red Dragon Brewery, which is really cool because we shot at Red Dragon Brewery.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a production at the location or a screening at the location we shot at, which is really cool. It's going to be a free screening, suggested donation, but anyone's welcome to come. It starts at 8 p.m.
How long is it?
It's 80 minutes, an hour and 20 minutes.
I just think for this area, like you set it up for this area, this isn't something to just, this is a great thing. It's a great thing, but what it means for the future, and you just never know who sees this, or someone who sees this as an area that's a viable area.
Oh, absolutely. One thing, I really tried to work on with my tourism work at Fredericksburg is when you ask people, what do you know about Fredericksburg? There's one word, and I'm sure you know what it is. And
Civil War.
Well, but the word I hear more than that is traffic.
Yes.
So that was a big goal of ours to say, people either traffic or Central Park. And a goal of ours in the tourism office was to demonstrate why Fredericksburg is a beautiful city. There are so many cities in Virginia, if we're talking about strictly from a historical aspect, that have rich history, and a lot of people might know more, but a lot of that history isn't authentic. Not that the stories aren't real, but the buildings and the landmarks are fake. Whereas Fredericksburg, we have not only preserved all of our history, but we've expanded upon it. A lot of these businesses that you see in Fredericksburg that are thriving, at one point were a building during the Civil War. Or you take Foodie, for example, is probably the pinnacle example of the amount of history in that wonderful restaurant, and what they've done to preserve it is incredibly impressive. Beth Black and Joy Crump have done incredible work with that. So Fredericksburg, there is so much here that needs to be explored by people outside of the region. Because anyone inside of the region knows it. Fredericksburg, I wrote this in my final blog for the city. If there's one thing people from Fredericksburg are proud of, it's the fact that they're from Fredericksburg. Yeah. They're ready to tell you that, and for good reason. Fredericksburg's a very proud city for that. I'm proud to have lived here for so long, and that's why I still am the program director for the Fredericksburg Film Festival. And if my movie can contribute to that, if people watch it while it's streaming and say, hey, that sounds like a beautiful area. I know Virginia, but I'd never really considered Fredericksburg past Central Park or a stop. Now maybe it's time to look into it, because we mentioned Fredericksburg a couple times in it. Not just that we shot there, but we mentioned the name Fredericksburg, so people know where we are. We have plenty of shots of the river. We have the train station. I think that gives an opportunity for people to take the train down here. When I was working for the city, I did a blog where I talked to Danelle, and my old boss, and I talked to the office. I was like, I think we have an untapped resource here, which is the rail community and people who want to take Amtrak down here. So Danelle had me drive down to Richmond to Staples Mill Station at 6 a.m. and take the train back up to Fredericksburg and then back down to Richmond to demonstrate just how accessible it is. And I think that's an example. Now that we have the train station, you see that it's over the river and in the middle of the city. That can be an avenue where people watch the movie and say, hey, I can take the train down there. Why don't I look into it? So, I think there are plenty of opportunities for people to not only highlight that, where we not only highlight Fredericksburg in the movie, but where people can realize that this is a great place to go.
So if someone is not able to make the Red Dragon showing on Saturday, other chances, other ways to see it?
Oh, absolutely. That's the nice thing about the Red Dragon screening is it's almost so the Red Dragon screening is like a celebration of Fredericksburg. It's for the people of Fredericksburg.
Yeah.
That's why it's free. But what's even more exciting than that is the day before. So this Friday, the 15th, we are releasing online. Officially on streaming platforms. We'll be releasing on more streaming platforms, but our distributor, GreenApple Entertainment, will be releasing on their GreenApple Go channels at first, including their YouTube channel. So it'll be on the GreenApple Go app and the GreenApple Go YouTube channel. And then we're planning on, we can't give specifics, but we're planning on, once it gets approved, releasing to other apps too and streaming platforms. It's very exciting. We are really excited to get the word out. Like, we did a Virginia tour with the movie a couple months ago, which went awesome. And it's nice to be able to share this now, not only with the people of the Commonwealth, but people outside of it too.
Well, and for you personally, this has got, I can't imagine how excited you are to from where this started with a therapist to today.
It's the definition of catharsis. It's really been to put it mildly, a rewarding experience. It required a lot of hard conversations. It required a lot of hard truths about myself and about people around me. But, at the end of the day, it is fiction. So it's not, everything to an extent is autobiographical, but at the same time, it also is, something that I drew from the heart, practically and not practically. But the nice thing is it's really turned into something that I'm proud of. And more importantly, that just speaks so much to not only who I am, but what I needed at the time that I wrote it and made it.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Ryan. Thank you. And who knows what this leads to, not for you personally and also for the city.
Absolutely. Anything I can do to support the city, even when I'm not here. Fredericksburg will always, we always said when I was working for the city, and I'm sure they still say, is Fredericksburg is where it all comes together. Fredericksburg is where my life came together, and I will ever feel indebted to the city, and I'll do whatever I can.